All right, welcome to another episode of Johnny's Bodge Garage, and this is the ancient lathe that I bought some time ago. And the challenge that I experienced here, because I want to be able to use it to cut wheels for my bead roller, which is also quite ancient, sitting right over there. My challenge is that it came with a 4-jaw chuck. And this 4-jaw chuck basically only adjusts one jaw at a time. And so I need to put like a dial indicator on whatever I was, and then while you tighten it, it could move off center. So it does not center. And so what I did was unbolt it from its flange right here in the back. And then also was able to kind of lock up the drive and was able to see how this was mounted onto the lathe by thread and by a bit of a square shoulder. So why I've taken that off is I have purchased a 3-jaw chuck, which is sitting upside down here, and will eventually have 3 holes drilled. And initially it would have had like these cam locks, so these pins that come out and they themselves would lock onto a drive shaft, but that's for a later design, even though this chuck is also quite old. So what I've done was I was trying to figure out, I looked inside these holes and there is a thread. And so of course that's my hope, is I'll be able to mount it on there, bolting it in 3 different places across. So now okay, so what thread is it? So what I did was I had a piece of 3/8 threaded rod, which falls right inside. And so what that means is whatever thread, larger thread it is, roughly, has an inside tooth dimension. So when you measure the low part of the tooth across here, whatever that bolt needs to be, it has to be basically the outside diameter of this, which is 375 roughly. So anyways, roundabout way, then I was pretty sure looking in the hole that it was fine thread. Couldn't find one initially, but I found a 7/16 coarse thread, which sort of which showed me, hey, that's probably right. Then I had to go around town a bit to find a 7/16 fine thread bolt. But what I found it was just a little tricky trying to get it into the hole. And my assumption is that it's the right bolt, the right thread, but that's probably a little chewed up from use. So what I did was I stole an idea that I've seen online where you take a little, a bolt that's the right thread, and you can actually see it's quite kind of chewed up. It's got dirt on it. But if I can get it out far enough, I cut a slot in it on 2 sides. Let me clean it up a little bit. You can see I cut a slot in the thread, in the bolt, and then cleared it away to basically make kind of a homemade tap. And I was able to recover these holes with an extra bolt. So I didn't have to go out and find a 7/16 fine thread tap. And it's so far going great. So the goal then will be to, once I got these holes cleaned out, and I know I'll be able to bolt into this, and then I'll be able to bolt that eventually on there. The challenge then is making this, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to put the holes through, but also getting this perfectly centered on this 3-jaw chuck. And so the plan is this has a bit of a shoulder that's smaller in diameter than this surface. And then, of course, the hole in the middle is also bigger than this piece here. So what I'm going to do is bring it back over here thread it back on to the lathe, and then I'm going to run a tool into this to basically cut a recess in the surface here that matches how much it sticks out on here. And I really want to be picky with that if I can, because that will then give me hopefully a perfectly centered hole with, you know, a bit of a step in here and then going down and matching up here. So that's the goal. It's about 100 thou. It sticks out, and that's basically what I want to do, is cut out a 100 thou donut off the surface of this face. We'll see how it goes. And once it's centered and it's, you know, fairly stable in there, so I'll kind of taper in the groove that I'll be cutting in there, so that hopefully, well, if I'm just picky enough, I can lock it in perfectly tight and then sort of clamp it on and then drill. Well, I'll have to figure that out later.